So, the key card in Jeskai Repeat here is its namesake here, Repeated Reverberation. The next instant, sorcery, or activated loyalty ability this turn, copy it twice. You may choose new targets for that copy. So, a really simple, slick way to leverage this card that's kind of neat is if you play Yanling on 3 and you plus her, on 4, you can go Repeated Reverberation and then Yanling make 3 4/4s, which is really awesome. Just a really clean 1-2. We took our card, we made a big board that's capable of like stabilizing or possibly winning the game on its own. Another sweet thing we can do is you can play Ral on 4, and then on 5, you can down tick your Ral to then Repeated Reverberations twice, to then shock for lethal, because Ral does extra damage on all of the shock copies as well. So this is a 1-2-3 punch. So there's a lot of, you can have a bunch of things kind of come together to deal a bunch of damages. You can also plus Teferi on 3 and then like play this on 4 and like bounce 3 things, draw 3 cards. So I like that this deck is playing a bunch of like pretty reasonable constructed playable cards, but then it's also playing a number of ways to leverage this card even when it's not like full comboing with it. And then we've got, you know, shocks, lightning strikes, flame sweeps, deafening clarions as ways to attack and keep ourselves alive against decks that are attacking us on the ground. So let's go ahead and dive on in with this one and see how it goes. So I feel like we shouldn't die in a dumpster fire too often, just because like Shock, Lightning Strike, Clarion, Flame Sweep, we have a lot of please don't kill me or like cards that let us tread water and give us time to get set up. And then like all of our various Planeswalkers and card advantage should be okay against the various decks that are trying to go over the top in the format. And the fact that we have 6 sweepers means that some of the decks that are trying to go over the top are going to have a hard time doing so against us, so we can sweep up Field of the Dead tokens. Hey, Samfara, thank you for the 9 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, so I think because they're on vampires, I'm just going to go ahead and shock this into Yanling rather than playing the Azcanta, because playing Yanling on a board that's mostly empty seems ideal. I mean, I kind of have to do some laddering. Disperse me. If I want to finish in the top 1,000. So, I am planning to play Sultai Flash on the ladder after this one. And then, if Flash doesn't hit a good streak, we're going to close with Yarok Field. Drawing second Azcanta here really sucks. Actual factual White Weenies, one we haven't seen in a hot second. Yeah, I haven't seen like White Weenies since Vampires took over, basically. So like since last season. Yeah, and part of that is definitely the ranked experience too. Like I think people playing decks that are like budget or older decks like this are less likely to be playing in Mythic. Whereas like, in addition to preserving my rank, part of the reason I play the less tested decks in these constructed events is because the average deck quality tends to be a little bit lower than the Mythic ladder. So when we're playing our tier 2 and tier 3 decks, they tend to have a little bit more of a fighting chance here. Well, that is not what we wanted for Christmas. So I guess we're doing this, and then we're making a 4/4, and then we're hoping for the best. So, Law Rune can diddle my God-Eternal Kefnet, and then this can eat a 3/2, but then I'm still taking 6, 10, 12. So I do really need to draw a live one next turn. Our poker hand is excellent, you're not wrong. And then, like, if they're hitting me for 12, this will be soft removal for something else later, which is nice. Yeah, if we hit a Clarion or a Flame Sweep's a little bit worse than Clarion, but still, like, pretty good. Alright, they drew a brick. That's a little bit of a reprieve that we need here, considering we have basically 3 bricks in our hand. If they didn't have this Law Rune Enforcer, like, maybe because I had God-Eternal Kefnet, I should have shocked this Law Rune Enforcer. Because if this was just another Sky Marcher Aspirant, I'd be in a much better spot here, right? Because they'd have to lose 2 creatures every combat instead of 1. I wonder if they're going to send 2 things at Yanling. Just sending Loxodon at Yangling's a good line. They are sending 2, deal. They're sending 2 at her. Wow, yeah, that's really good for me. This means we might have a shot. Oh, yikes. I went to bed at 1:09 and woke up at 1:19. I remember you saying the changes become more frequent at the end of the season. This is nerve-wracking as a first-timer. Yeah, you need to understand that if you don't make it because you hit a bad run, it in no way reflects your ability as a Magic player. Magic's an incredibly high variance game, and the ladder is very volatile. Another thing to consider is that during one of the seasons when I was tracking it closely, at the very end, I was losing multiple ranks per minute at the end of one of the seasons. Come on, Flame Sweep. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Clarion, my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest, don't you cry no more. The Karn Father coming in hot with the 12 months of Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And then we get to attack for 4 with Lifelink. Roll Zito. Thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed here. Nikki Two Shoes, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Thanks for the Prime support. Yes, we have in fact entered garbage time. We're gonna kill this Marshal and lifelink for 8 this turn. Triple lifelink, great. I do not need to triple up my Clarion. There's now 6 cards in the bin, so the next card's gonna let me flip this, which is great. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. I mean, I think as long as Hagak is legal, not registering 4 copies of Leyline of the Void in most decks is probably a mistake. Would be my response to your question. I think we trim Expansion Explosion here. It's probably a little slow. Just bring in a bunch of removal spells. Seems good. So until Monday, until the ban list update happens, yeah, I mean, important thing to remember too is that, like, again, I feel like something a lot of people have lost sight of is the fact that, like, Hagak isn't something really new or novel in Modern. Like, the types of gameplay that Hagak generates is what Modern has been about for some time. So, like, just because Hagak gets banned doesn't mean the Modern format fundamentally changes. My current distaste for Modern isn't really Hagak related. Yeah, Hagak's a symptom of, like, the ultimate problem. And again, that's if you come from the viewpoint, so that's very important to understand, is that, like, Hagak and, like, what Modern is, it's not necessarily wrong or broken too, which I think is something that's important to talk about. Like, just because I don't like it and maybe you don't like it, there's plenty of people who do like it, and we should just let those people enjoy it. And if you don't like Modern for what it is now, Historic's coming in the fall, which is great. I am looking forward to playing some Historic in the fall. I think this is actually a mulligan. It doesn't have Shock, Lightning Strike, any of our sweepers in it. It's missing a white source, so I can't even draw into a Clarion and cast it. Well, I mean, this hand, this hand needs a red source, but it's, like, pretty decent otherwise. They put me on the play. Deal. Hagak is alarmingly consistent, but if you get Grishelbrand or Wurza turn 3, 4 games in a row, it doesn't really matter if it's less consistent because it's still the same feel bads. Basically, people's feelings are independent of whether or not they actually got unlucky, feel bads or feel bad. Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment. In fact, I would even argue that Hagak, by and large, is less offensive than a lot of the more volatile decks in the format in terms of how you're able to interact with it. I think there's other decks in Modern that tend to be higher variance than Hagak is, that actually are much more difficult to interact with and kill you a lot faster on average. The second time my opponent's missed sacrificing a Dauntless Bodyguard. They might be newer. Beard Hug, thanks for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome. 4-color elementals from the day is super fun. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite new deck I played in a hot second. Gideon gets fried next turn. Is there another TCG that benefits from putting the opponent on the play? I don't know.
Curse the darkness.
The Warhammer TCG that I've been enjoying, that I'm going to stream a little bit of next week when they have their next set release. I'm not certain that being on the play is ideal in that game most of the time because of the way their resource system works. Hey, look, a distraction. This Vanguard's actually pretty good against us. We don't have an elegant way to kill that. This deck's not playing any copies of Baffling End, which is probably a mistake. I missed that when I was looking at it and making some changes last night. Once you queue into Danto Vanguard, you're like, oh, I should have Baffling Ends in my deck. But looking over the sideboard last night, that's what I missed. That's unfortunate. I wanted this to be more than one turn's worth of distraction.
I guess there's no way to change what just happened.
Yeah, we need to find Kefnet or a Yanling so we can block this Vanguard. Part of that too, Sojourner, is definitely like anecdotal evidence too. A lot of people generally take to think like whatever small sample of games they've played on the ladder or in the events or whatever is like representative of the format as a whole, and that's just like not possible in a format like this one where there's so many decks. Like I can play, you know, let's say a dozen matches on the ladder and like not play against every deck that I would consider to be a top tier deck in the format. Thief of Sanity is definitely one that fell off the face of the earth. Wild Growth Walker is also one that is not particularly present anymore. So unfortunately, they deployed enough threats here that this Yangling's probably not going to be able to make a 4/4, which sucks. Yeah, if they only send the 2/2/2s, the 2/2 ones here, the Yangling could end up buying us a lot of time, which is nice. Oh, I'm so dumb. I should have done this pre-combat. I let them flip the Legion landing. That's probably going to cost me. I don't know. We're in a pretty bad spot regardless because of this Vanguard. But the landing definitely puts us in a worse spot. Yeah. Remember when Fine Finality was appropriately costed card advantage? Yeah, they just have, like, nothing going on. If I deny them this, that's fine. They would have flipped the landing this turn anyways. Doesn't really matter. Like, even if I find a Clarion at this point, I don't really have a catch-up mechanic. So I don't have, I need like a Clarion and a threat. So like if like already had a 4/5 in play, we could be okay, but yeah. Some number of these decrees or Aether Gusts or maybe some of these Lava Coils or Fries, like some of these should be baffling ends. Fortunately, we are playing in a constructed event, so we're locked in. So hopefully we can just dodge a Danto Vanguards or like draw our 4/4s and our 4/5s to block them. In. Yeah, I think Baffling End's a premium white removal spell right now, and if you're playing anything mid-ranging or controlling, you should probably have some in the 75. Sure. And part of that, to a degree, I feel like Arena could do a better job hand-holding on players like that. Like, they could almost certainly handhold and, like, hard code, like, you're about to make something indestructible in response to Disfigure or Obnixilis, pop up something explaining how this is going to work. There aren't too many rules to explain. This is literally a computer. You can take the time to explain whatever needs to be explained. Yeah, I agree. And I agree that they've made really good strides towards making some of that better, but I also agree that there's still work that they could do to improve even further. I'm gonna go ahead and just flame sweep these Law Rune Enforcers here. And like, they have their Vanguard this time around, but I have both Kefnet and this Yanling token next turn, so I feel like we're in an okay spot here. I chose not to shock to play this Opt this turn because this Opt can trigger Kefnet on their turn at some point in the future. Yeah, the amulet stops us from technically combo killing them. Their Enforcer's actually pretty annoying.
Your violence elsewhere.
Huh? So the fact that they drew this makes playing God-Eternal a little bit worse here. But I think I'm just doing this plus Yangling down tick plus tapped lands here. The safekeeping does make my 4/4 only into a 3/4. I don't think that's that relevant here. Yeah, the Enforcer cannot tap the Elemental, but it can tap Kefnet. Squeeze me. So they have 9 permanents right now. If they have another creature, this turns into a 3/3. Three, two, one, sub anniversary blasts off. Thank you for the 32 months, Incendium. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I guess if you have multiple amulets, it is really good against Skip Shift, huh? I think there's a good chance our opponent's a little bit newer at Magic. They missed sacrificing Dauntless Bodyguard in a couple of our games, and they've been playing pretty slowly overall, probably reading a lot of what our cards do. Well, I mean, it's not that they're playing on full control mode. It's that when you have a Adanto out and you have 4 or more life, you always get priority. So that's an Adanto Vanguard thing, not a decision they're making. I feel like this game solidly entered garbage time at this point. Let's check out what some of our options are here before we do anything. Man, that's unfortunate. I can't cast another spell after.
I'd respond better to kindness.
So let's fry this one. And then next turn, Reverberation was going to let us make 3 4/4s or 3 3/4s. So, you know. Ooh, a Ravnica Legions booster pack. $20 gems. Ooh. Zoidbog is eating like a king tonight. Sure. Morning, son. Son of some. I'm gonna keep that in the dark. I think that's good against a lot of the format. I could change the Yangling avatar. That's fair. We should probably do that for flavor reasons. I'm gonna bottom Lightning Strike here against turn 1 Breeding Pool, I think. I think I want to jam this and just start heading towards the ultimate. They're probably playing Golos. They're probably just Golos Field. Which, our deck actually isn't that good. Our deck is really bad at killing Golos, right? Do we have any ways to do it?
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I make it rain for fun.
Sometimes I make it rain for fun. Yeah, Ral minus plus strike. Yeah, that's fair.
You can bury your crimes, but your past always comes back to haunt you.
The sky is my domain.
Right on schedule. Don't worry.
So this only gives islands the emblem, right? So if I emblem her, I have one land that lets me draw extra cards. That's probably good enough, though. Do I just, like, alter as a Howling Mine at this point? I think I do.
Open your mind to the possibilities.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I make it rain for fun. That's more like it.
Look at that. The auto tapper didn't even use that one. God bless. Yeah, any other islands that we see we'll keep. But we bottomed one earlier, but I think that was right at the time. Alright, are we gonna get another turn? We might not get another turn. I believe Allie's Golos Scapeshift deck was playing 4 Nexus in the main just to make things extra miserable for everyone. I hope they ban this card in Historic. I assume they're just not going to care about Historic and they're just going to leave it legal, but I kind of hope that card gets banned in Historic. Yeah, he was playing, I know he got first. I was more commenting on the fact that he was playing 4 Nexus, right? Yeah, I hope they ban Nexus.
Hey, that was uncalled.
It's a pretty awful design mistake. Now we could combo kill them here, right? If we draw the right sequence of stuff. Need to get a repeated reverberation or whatever that's called. And, like, I get to keep their board in check here, right? Like, I have, even if I draw straight bricks here, I have sweep plus strike to clear their board.
Trust me, I have a plan. You must be accompanied by a parent or guardian to ride the lightning.
Huh? Yeah, I guess if we draw the other expansion explosion, they die, right? Because we go opt expansion. They created the Temple of Silence. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. The Kefnet copy interface feels badly coded. Can you articulate as to why you think that? Be helpful and constructive for any developers that might be watching or listening. I feel like Aether Gust isn't good enough here. Both Stroke and Veto seem good. Maybe I'm supposed to keep Strike in because it helps clean up. Maybe I'm supposed to leave Strike in because it helps clean up Golos with a double up. Pauper decks are 25 just like Modern. Slinker. So I think I'm going to keep Strike over Shock. Even though it's slightly less resource efficient because 2 strikes kill a Golos. And like Strike plus Flame Sweep kills Golos like we did there. Keep in mind for things you're thinking about submitting for Pauper though, Slinker, I'm not taking any of like the really obnoxious, grindy, slow, grind you into oblivion Pauper decks. I'm only going to take things that are a little bit more proactive. That rules out a lot of Pauper decks. A lot of Pauper is slow grindy. Yeah, tiered aggressive decks would be fine. I think we could have killed them by casting Opt on upkeep and then tapping Island to draw the expansion. Yes, I think you're right. I'm pretty sure you're correct. Yeah, I was gonna say we played the Golos deck last week and the week before. Ali's been playing it for a long time. Like he's been playing it in the fandom tournament like every week for like the last month or so, it seems like. So we get to do that. Plus Strike here to kill this. And notably, Flame Sweep does not damage our Kefnet because it doesn't deal damage to our flying creatures, which is excellent. Now we have a Flame Sweep that they know about, but that's great. To be fair, this standard format's like really good for Ali's preferred playstyle. There's a lot of people that are basically just like, it's an arms race to the top. And his decks tend to be some of the best big go over the top decks. Yeah, I agree, Punchworthy. The more we explore this format, the more I'm like, yeah, this format's gonna be a great base for Historic. Really, I'm really glad the format fundamentally changed from what we were experiencing during War of the Spark. Yeah, I think this archetype has a lot of reasonable things going for it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this and clean these out. Yeah, Flame Sweep's an instant. It just often doesn't have the option to be cast at instant speed because Teferi, Hero of Hearthstone, is an omnipresent threat in this format. Alright, so Lightning Strike is lethal next turn. No, not quite, because they're gaining 4. Yep.
Every problem has a solution. Let's start by taking you. It all built up to this.
Blue Leyline does not circumvent Teferi. So the way Magic works, no always beats yes. So when there's a thing that says you can do this thing, and there's a thing that says you can't do this thing, the can't always wins. I probably should have left God-Eternal Kefnet back here to block these 2/2s. I think that was a mistake. Hey, Jay the Beard 3, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Are there 2 other Jay the Beards? I have to know. Yeah, I definitely should have left this back. I think we're gonna die now. They're gonna cast Nexus of Fate and kill us. We can opt into Disdainful Stroke. Yeah, maybe I should have saved my Flame Sweep from earlier. Maybe I should have Clarion sooner. There could be only one Jay the Beard. Good to know. Good to know. I feel like I messed that up. I don't know. I feel like I was too conservative with my Clarion. Shouldn't have used my health tool as quite as much of a resource. I should have held the Flame Sweep for a little bit bigger board. Seems okay. Sure. think I'm looking for like Kefnets or Yanglings or Rail to start. Just gonna go ahead and draw a card off the bat here.
I'm known for my excellent timing. I'll protect you.
Perfect. It's a goal to get neon hair colored again. I don't know. I have to think about it. Declan did ask me about coloring my hair blue the other day, though. So you have the support of my 4-year-old. It's not too bad, Jen. I don't really leave the house that much. So, like... Although I guess my kids go to school now. And, like, we did sign Jacob for Cub Scouts last night. So I do have to interact with, like, other human beings a little bit more often now. So maybe I have to think about it if we really want to be neon again. Yeah, other people suck, man. Maybe I'm supposed to... I think maybe I was supposed to opt in response to that, because if I hit Veto... I think I'm bottoming Yanling here. I think we're going to keep plussing Teferi and keep him around just because having... There's only one card in my bin. Having Clarion and instant speed seems really potent in this matchup. Yep. So Clarion plus Flame Sweep, clear out Golos next turn. Dang, explain my... I mean, I did. There's only one card in my bin. And, like, the Azcanta is going to take forever to do anything. Cub Scouts are 2/2 Scouts. Fair assessment. And then let's play this with Lifelink and deal 3 to finish it off.
I'll protect you.
Yeah, Allie won the fandom with 5-color Golos yesterday. Don't make me regret this. Instant regret. Super super punished for not using the down tick on this earlier, huh? Am I going to Magic Fest India in September? No. It's just too expensive to go to Magic Fest events. Between the actual cost of travel and then how much opportunity cost I lose by going. Yeah, I definitely should have drawn a card with that instead of taking it to 5. I'm killing the Teferi there because Teferi stops God-Eternal Kefnet from having his trigger work. Yep, the laundry list of cards hosted by 3 mana Teferi. Yep. I'm not sure we can beat an 8/8 chat. I mean, while that's true to a degree, Izia, when you work a traditional, when you work non-contract gigs, like my wife's job comes with PTO, right? Like that's a real consideration.
You ready to throw down the gauntlet? I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes
I think we're dead here. I'm not sure we can really beat this crisis. If they make medium attacks here, I can keep this alive and then maybe luck into a combo style finish. Now, none of our cards really do anything super meaningful, right? Like with what's in my hand, this doesn't have any one card things in this deck that like combo from here. Rail copied explosion is actually lethal. Yeah, that's true.
Fury will only lead you astray.
I assume they have an Nexus of Fate, so this doesn't matter, and they're still going to kill my rail. Well, I guess if they had Nexus of Fate, they would have attacked with Hydroid Crisis, right? Well, that kind of needed to be a live draw, huh? Yeah. If that had been something live, we'd have been able to do something here maybe, but just too much otherwise. That doesn't really surprise me. Like I said, the Golos deck is kind of like the very top of the go over the top hierarchy in this standard format right now. So anything that's not like trying to get under the Golos deck probably just gets devoured by it. In fact, the Yarok field deck that I've been playing a lot of probably has a terrible matchup in that matchup. Maybe Ego can salvage things for us, but I would bet it's not good for us on average. A Fancy Penguin, thanks for 17 months. Robert Boucher, thanks for cashing your Prime support for the second month in a row. Welcome back. Awesome, glad you enjoy the YouTube stuff. Thanks for keeping me around. Curry Shalale, thank you for the 2 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You have like a small vain hope that they'll ban Nexus in Historic, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Woke up at 5 a.m. yesterday, was up until 7 a.m. today. Finally got up to my S-owner brother who broke down 500 miles away. Careful driving on very little sleep, Nivik. Get some rest. I appreciate the 20 months. Welcome back. That's cute. All I have to say about usernames and butchering, if your username is not camel cased and it's multiple words and it's words that are non-standard English language words, you're just setting yourself up to get your username butchered. That's all I'm saying. Camel case it. Make it readable. Especially when it's both of those things, because like when it's a made-up word or words and not camel casing, you have to guess where the words start and finish that you're reading, too.
I am a great conductor.
We might actually kill them next turn. We have Reverberate and Rail. Rail plus Reverberate does the same amount of damage regardless of the order I do these in, right? It's multiplication, right? It's 2 times 3 or 3 times 2. So doing this and then this or this and then this doesn't matter. I guess it potentially matters if your opponent has a counterspell, but like if they don't have a counterspell. Oh, we get 1 more damage from copying reverb. Why? -2. It's just 1 more damage. That's the only thing that matters, right?
Better watch out. There's a storm.
All right. Triggers. This is something we're looking to. It took us 3 matches to get here, but we did finally get to do the thing. All right, so what do we see out of them? I guess they had the white token maker. Do I just click submit? I don't really know what their deck is doing. And our sweepers and spot removal both seem okay here. I don't think Devout Decree is very good. Maybe they have black planeswalkers. I'm going to click submit. So, the big problem with Mu Yanling Larynx is that her token just gets bounced by Teferi, then they draw a card, right? So her -3 is not great against the hero of Hearthstone. But don't worry, as soon as Teferi Hero of Hearthstone rotates, Mu Yanling will be playable. Oh wait, they rotate together. Whoopsie poopsie. Sultian, thank you for the brand new Prime Support. There's a lot of great people you can ship that to every single month on Twitch. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me around. I should mulligan this, right? I can't keep Scryland on the draw. I know that one's close because it has Azcanta in it. So, like, if I hit the second land and it's a blue source, Azcanta finds me more. If that was a blue scry, I'd probably take it. I will take Pauper decks at modern pricing, so 25. With the very important asterisk that I'm only taking aggressively slanted Pauper decks. Because playing non-aggro Pauper decks was really tedious. Here comes Mr. T with that brand new Prime Support. Thanks for shipping your Bezo X this way this month. Welcome, welcome. If we hit a red source next turn, we get to make 3 4/4s off of Yangling, which is sweet. Because this also double copies Planeswalker activated abilities. I'm actually inclined to agree with your friend Jay the Beard. I actually think Hagak is one of the less offensive things that's currently going on in Modern. I think Wurza, for instance, is a lot more offensive than Hagak.
Think you can beat me? You're welcome to try.
The types of gameplay patterns that Wurza generates, for example, is pretty bad.
I gotta know.
I think even if they ban Hagak, Modern is still a trash show. I think I'd rather play against Hagak than a variety of the other things that exist.
Don't worry, I won't.
That's rude. I wanted to make a bunch of things. Oh, I have this, I guess. Right? Huh. So do I Teferi plus and then plus Yangling? I kind of want to make a bunch of 3/3s here. Or a bunch of 4/4s. I think I just want to make a bunch of 4/4s.
Sky, my friend.
They could have sweepers in their deck. Opponent's playing a bit of a brew, so we don't know exactly what the set of cards we're playing around is. So we could get like Kaya's Wrath, the Ritual assorted here. Lyra is a good one to know about. I'm gonna bottom that, huh? I'm kind of just like looking for another Teferi. That way we can bounce this again next turn and kill them. So I put them to 8. And then if I make a 4/4... Oh, she loses flying? Ha! Reading the card explains the card. Reading the card explains the card. That's fine. We have them dead on board next turn through the Lyra. Good to know. Good to know. Did you know Yangling makes cards lose flying? Because I now know Yangling's +2 makes cards lose flying.
I must uncover more secrets.
Wow, brutal. Deafening Clarion is lethal. Lightning Strike is lethal. 3 mana Teferi is lethal. Search for Azcanta is not lethal.
This might be a bad idea.
So, if I'd have Yangling last turn, I'd have killed them this turn with Teferi bouncing, so something to think about. There's only 4 cards in my bin at this point. You have a variety of cards that let us attack for lethal here. That's not one of them, though, right? Right? So this deals 4. So if we attack with everything, they go to 16. They take 8. They go to 8. Yeah, it means we likely have lethal next turn. And in fact, this Lyra, Flame Sweep plus copy is only 4 damage. This is a 5/5. Flame Sweep hits my opponent's flyers. It does not hit my flyers. Yeah. Okay. So this is trading a 4/4 for their Lyra, basically, right? So that seems fine. Because I don't have lethal on the backswing because they can make a 5/5. So if I let them kill Teferi, I'm not guaranteed to have lethal on the backswing. I think I'd like to just take their thing off the table and leave this so it can bounce their 5/5 demon. We're in a pretty good spot regardless, right? Alright. And they're dead.
Let's try this.
Getcha. Getcha. Dunk dunk. Ooh. Alright. We're two and 1 now. Let's try a 4th one. I'm glad we got to combo kill at least once during our set here. And we haven't shilled yet today. Oh, did my match pop already? Alright, we'll shill after the match. Got it. Morning, Mulder. Happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend. Lead on the old Temple of Epiphany here. Get our scry on. The Temple of Epiphany is actually not super useful at the moment because, like, I don't really know what I'm looking for because I don't know what they're playing. So, like, is Lightning Strike a good keep? I guess. I think I keep this in the dark. No, I'm gonna look for some of our combo cards in the dark. But like, if they're playing an aggro deck, I'm gonna be a little sad I bottomed that. How long am I streaming for today? My normal stream schedule is till about 2 p.m. Central Standard Time in the afternoon. So that's about 4.5 hours from now for reference. Timberland Gorge, probably some kind of, so either budget mana or some kind of what's it called deck? Field of the Dead deck. We had a modern command. I think the bot died and ate it.
Call your temper.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and plus here. And just like Ral and plus. Looking for like Reverberate here, I think. Definitely not looking for a 6th land. Yeah, the Flame Sweep should hopefully do some work here. If they have a Scamper here, the 1/1 that makes 2 other 1/1s, they get to kill one of my Planeswalkers, so that could be bad. But I think that's like the only elemental that really punishes my line. So I think this is correct.
Don't get me involved.
My brainstorms bring actual thunder and lightning.
The sky is my domain.
So I think next turn I'm gonna -2 Reverberate and then Yanling make a bunch of 4/4s. Just like instant board presence. Yeah, Rexbach, that's something that comes up on occasion. It's weird. Sure, so I'll let them get an extra one on here.
Mortals are so reckless.
That's really unfortunate.
Get me involved.
I guess I could find a shock and kill them. Maybe that was good. Maybe I should have kept that one.
Bow to the howling winds.
You like the gauntlets? I built them myself.
You're just like looking for a shock or a lightning strike to just like repeated plus Ral combo them. Sure. Wonder if we'll see her kill one of my planeswalkers. Might see her kill Yangling here. Deal.
Let's get toasty. Take your violence elsewhere.
There's plenty more where that came from.
Sky, my friend.
Does not. It's a pretty decent, like, soft combo, basically. Caca! Caca! 20 flying power. Go. Build your own Barret Leech. Kinda. Thanks for the 3 months of support there, Puppet of Chaos. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Alright, so they can down tick on one of these to not be dead on board. They are elementals. Friendo. You're dead. You're dead on board, Friendo. Well, they realized their whoopsie almost as soon as they did it. I don't know. There's a good chance they were dead there regardless, but he definitely made a bit of a whoopsie-poopsie there. Aether Gust sounds great against their green-red deck. Flamestreak actually seems a little bit mediocre. I think I'd rather have Clarion because they have things that get a little bit bigger. That's the only swap I'm doing. Do I want Lava Coil? Lava Coil seems like it's probably a little bit slow. Being sorcery speed's kind of a drag, too. Rest of this seems fine. I think the rest of this seems fine. Maybe Time Raveler's not good enough. Maybe would I rather have Time Raveler or just like Lava Coils? I think I might. Maybe I'd rather just have removal spells over the Teferi Time Ravelers. I could see that. Seems fine. Let's do it. They had like Trailblazer and Overgrowth Elemental, which kind of implies that they're a little bit lower to the ground elemental deck, right? Yeah, seems sweet. When you don't have creature removal, you use player removal. Yep. Best source of card advantage in Magic is killing them while they still have cards in their hand. Yeah, that sounds great. You can go tap land plus op next turn. Get a little bit of selection going on. Rise up. I think I'm just playing this tapped and passing here. We'll just play into Clarion next turn. Clarion, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are gone. They not have another play? I guess we could be getting, like, negated here. Does it smell like negate? There's definitely a pause there. Could have like Gust or they could have Gust or Veil of Summer too. Yeah, it might be right to just jam Yangling here. Yeah, it could be right to tap land plus strike on upkeep too. I agree with that. Like if they untap and like Nissa us here, we're kind of like up a creek without a paddle at this point. Because we burned the Clarion. I think I want to just do that there in case they have another counterspell. Because, like, without the Sweeper, I have a hard time catching up from the value that Risen Reef can generate. So I think cutting them off that value guaranteed seems good. I'm going to play the Sky Dancer here, I think. That's perfect, because now we can expansion their negate back at them. Quell your temper. I really love the design on this Planeswalker. I wish 3-mana Teferi didn't exist so I could play sweet cards like this one.
My search continues elsewhere.
This hand's kind of a good example of why there's only 3 copies of Repeated in the deck. Yep. Does every card have a promo version? You mean a borderless version? No is the answer. A lot of them do though. I think I'm gusting this Hydrate Crisis here. As terrible as it sounds, I just can't take a hit for 4. Feels like we're dead here. The double shock on our Yanling was just so devastating this game. I guess I could have killed... Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to kill Leafkin instead of the, Maybe I'm supposed to kill Leafkin instead of the what's it called there? Yep, there's this, Milla, thank you for the 43 months of support. That's a really long time. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one. Alright, so I put a stop on their draw step here. So this way, after they draw, but before their main phase, so they can't activate Nissa yet, we try and gust this back to the top of their deck. Yeah, they probably should have animated a non-forest. I agree. It is Black Rabbit. If we get to it. So the Yarok deck, I didn't actually have any viewers add the Yarok deck back to the queue. But if we don't have a good ladder streak with Flash, we're gonna play Yarok to ladder up a little bit. Because my goal is to finish in the top 1,000 this month. Looks like we're dead. Feels dead, man. Yeah, it's fine. I can take the third game on the play. Do I want Disdainful Stroke in this matchup? I don't think so. They have Krasis and Nissa, but that's about it. I mean, the mana is really good in this format, and Teferi's just a very powerful card. Very high floor. Now, I think Reverberate's fine. I think the fact that we drew two of them there and they were clunky was awkward. We're only playing 3 of them. If you make adjustments to your deck every time you get unlucky, you're gonna make lots of bad changes to your deck. Looking to scry into a second blue source here. Instead of me telling you you're wrong, can you tell me why you're right? Form an argument, K-Dog. Why should I double strike the Nissa and leave the 3/3 in play? How do I beat the 3/3 after I double strike the Nissa when I'm at like 7 or 4 or whatever I was at? Perfect. I think the red-black burn deck from yesterday has potentially get to Mythic. Maybe. I don't know. Like we played what, like 6 matches with it? Like playing 6 matches with a deck isn't really a meaningful sample size to give me a lot of knowledge about it.
Even a typhoon cannot challenge a raging river.
Please tap out for something silly and don't hit my Yanling. Nink debate class should be mandatory in secondary or university level academics. Probably. Basic logic classes should probably also be required. Play Risen Reef. Play Risen Reef. Rude.
Take your violence elsewhere.
Need to figure out where to look on video calls. You just get used to it. You should position the camera in a way that like is convenient for you too and makes sense for the most part. I mean, to be fair, the first game we won was because we basically combo birded them with Yanling, right? And like the fact that like we've had 2 reverberates in our hand in these games too that like would be much better if we had Yanling, right? Probably Clarioning this turn. Yeah, I think so. So, when I ask you to justify your answer, K-Dog, I'm not asking you to do that because I think you're better at Magic than I am. And I'm not saying that I'm necessarily better at Magic than everyone else in the chat. It's just from a discussion standpoint and from an educational standpoint, it's easier for me to explain why I did something if I understand why you think I shouldn't have done it. Because there's lots of details that go into everything, and if you can't understand where the person asking the question is coming from, you're likely not going to be able to help them understand. If that makes sense. The best teachers you will ever have will always answer your questions with other questions. I guess I could triple opt here. I think I'd rather just hold up Aether Gust, though. I can also opt into a Kefnet card on their turn, which is sweet. Yeah, the worst teachers will read the PowerPoint slides to you. For people who, yeah, Socratic method. For people who are not familiar with my background, in addition to my master's in mathematics, my undergrad and some of my grad program was spent with an education minor. And I spent some time teaching college classes after grad school. Did a semester of student teaching in high school before I decided that wasn't for me. I have a negate here. I don't know. I think stealing games with repeated is good. I think you're kind of tunnel visioning on the fact that, like, I drew 2 reverberations 2 games in a row, and my opponent, like, drew enough burn spells to kill my Yanling 2 games in a row. I think I'd be, in fact, seeing how this deck is played out, I think I would be more inclined to play a 4th Yanling before I would cut the 3rd reverberation. I would rather play more payoffs for this rather than trying to cut copies of it, I think. Hey, Maltmeister, thank you for the 15 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Yeah, it's also very possible I should have reverberated my opt earlier this game. Mortals are so reckless. How about a free Aether Gust? Like one of your freest of Aether Gusts, please. Not surprised to see that one go to the bottom.
Quell your temper.
Quell your temper. And maybe I'm just supposed to be smacking them in the air here instead of protecting Yanling. Especially with this Aether Gust. Yeah, I just felt like my health total was so low at that point, K-Dog, that like taking another hit for 4 or for 3 against their deck that has burn spells in it wasn't a winning proposition. Oh, I guess if this resolves, they die, huh? Yeah, okay. I was thinking maybe I should kill this, but the chance this gets negated here too. This might be, it might be that I'm supposed to leave up. It might be that I'm only supposed to do that for 4 and then leave Aether Gust up.
Bow to the howling winds.
To be fair, I think regardless of which line we took in that position, K-Dog, I think we were pretty dead that game. Have you heard about my birds? I said a bird. Bird's the word. I said a bird. Again, I really feel like I want a 4th Yanling in this deck more than I want to cut the 3rd copy of Reverberation. Just because the Yanling on 3 reverb make 3 4/4s on 4 is just super, super reasonable. So I think I would like a 4th copy of this card in this deck. I do think you're right that we're potentially like light on payoffs overall. Yeah, Yanling was pretty reasonable on its own. So we're gonna finish this one at 3-1 because we're going for about 90 minutes. But I'd like to talk about this deck. I like a lot of what this deck is doing, and it feels like because a lot of the go over the top decks are Field of the Dead decks right now, you probably have a pretty reasonable shot at interacting with a lot of them. I feel like my change would probably be turn this Teferi Time Raveler into a 4th Yanling here. Would probably be my swap in the main deck. The rest felt pretty reasonable. I definitely want some Baffling Ends in the sideboard. We talked about that a little bit. At least 2, possibly even 3. It might even just be that, like, I want to just hard swap these Lava Coils. Maybe like trim a Devout Decree. Because this card's pretty good against the red aggro decks too. 3 Aether Gusts. And maybe we just like trim one of each of these and like get 4 Baffling Ends in here. And again, Baffling End, for those that were watching earlier, is important because taking a Danto Vanguard out of play is pretty critical in a lot of places. Yeah, not as efficient, Demonger. You could play like Prison Realm, but like 3 mana's a lot. We want to play Fish Through Time instead of Expansion. I don't think so. Is there a world where you cut white from the deck? I don't think so either. So, one, I think playing the white mana is pretty free just because we have such good mana in this deck, in this format. Sorry. I also think talking about Baffling End being important in the format to exile a Danto Vanguard almost makes the white splash worth it on its own. Why do I want to play Nexus of Fate? What problem does my deck have, and how is that problem being solved by adding Nexus of Fate? So, Sky Tether's an interesting one. I could see that being okay. That's funny. All of our threats are flying, huh? Yeah, that could be cute to try. The Sky Tether is much worse against the red decks because it doesn't exile Steamkin. But outside of, we probably have enough Shocks and Lightning Strikes that could be okay to try. All right, so what are we doing? We're gonna roll on into some Sultai Flash up next here. Actually, sorry to throw people for a loop. I'm gonna reorder my schedule here, and I'm gonna do 4-color Kethis up next. Because if Sultai Flash has a good run, I'm gonna run long with it and try and ladder up with that if we have a good run. So I'm gonna do 4-color Kethis next to leave us flexibility to just like play Sultai Flash for 2 hours if I want to, or 3 hours.